Greetings, this is Freenair Rudimentra. All I'll say is I still am having technical difficulties with my webcam, and that it is late, and I hope to get this review done quickly. Tonight's episode, with that cheerful note, that tonight's episode is Critical Role Campaign 3, Song of the Bells Hells, episode 63. A, a, uh, uh, okay, a haunted past. Some revelations are come of us, and things will get dark. Fair warning. We open up to the cast, which is once again only Matt and the main cast whose characters are playing, whose characters are part of Team Isira. Oh, sure. Plus Sam Pemberley to the ad reads, starting with a Old Spice Ace, who was once again team up with Witcher. Who's on ads? Uh, just know you see the new Witcher themed ad in in the during the break. It's the first thing, and it's unusual. I would have sworn Sam wrote it. Anyway, Sam reveals the thing he likes about it is the character he likes most is Roach. Uh, which is Gerald's horse. Which I guess when what they said dies at some point because they said about replacing. Other than that, no new real iterations. And then now we get to the then after the intro we get to it. How we get to the actual episode. We get to the reveal what's happened the previously on, which the group this half of Cells after after being forcefully split from the rest landed in the Silra. Met these three new travel companions. Um, Denise with a dog sign, Bor'Dor Dogson, and Prism the Shardukai, elf of the Shadowfell. If you don't know this, please go back and watch the other episodes. Having helped rid the town of Hartrell from religious zealots. That's were directed by the elder Adine to seek out her old mentor, Hevestro, who is an archdruid who lives within the who supposedly will have the ability to send them back to where they want to be, which will allow the Bell cells to fully reunite. After finding the canyon they search it with various means of descent, such as a link, like a Legend of Zelda glide, and a not very successful featherfall spell. They approach. They search for it, and finding the entrance hidden under illusionary flowers next to a what appeared to be a breathing hill. Upon that, entering a cavern with many blue luminous plants, and prismatic crystals, which were shown to be able to refract spells, splitting them to attack to, so that they can reach more people, but it's splitting the power uh, in doing so. Upon traversing deeper in the cave, they find a chamber full of crystals on green crystals on walls and stuff, and they see it. They like a large natural staircase, sort of up to this large green green crystalline mm, in obelisk, which Ashton remarks it seems similar to a natural form of residuum, a magical catalyst and amplifier. Hmm. And then Orm notices on the ceiling what appears to be a shadow, within that shadow a face which smiles down at them. And we're off with this episode. The entity, this whatever this thing is, it's high. It still keeps hidden within the shadows of the room. Uh, there. And as Orm alerts them to it, the air seems to chill around them, as you can hear it snarling at them. Bor'Dor attempts to be diplomatic and inform of what they're here for, like that they are sent by Adeline to seek Hevestro. But this entity replies, Hevestro is unavailable. The entity's name identifies is itself as Ev Evithorir Evithorir and claims, and when asking if when they thought it was Hevestro, they said Hevestro is mine, and Umadu Umadua is mine. Mm. Um, it claims that they are within him. It claims that this valley it belongs to it. It has been its home for many a millennia or something like that. Some sort of long time increment. Prison, who stores the shadow stuff, does it sort of tries to look closer to see if this creature is something resembling being from the shadow, but strangely, no. It seems to give off the energies of its opposite. It had it gave its powers, its field that resonates more with that of a fae. Its energy is that of a fae. Mm-hmm. And when they asked if they could try to use the energies and magics of this area to help them, it says it stops. It starts examining them more closely and declares, "You smell of potential." I think I'm actually getting better at this. I think I am. Watch me bomb it now. They put that into words. Mhm. It has revealed that it has been trapped for, but it is one of the entities such as Umadara in with the rest of the group. So, like Umadara with the team Wallmount, it too was a prisoner released during the apogee solstice. And they offer their assistance in a way, but it claims there's only one way to help. It must join with Avestro within it. And with that, combat initiates. Oh, good God. Not sure you just noticed on my screen, it went blank for a second, black for a second, inactivity. Mm. I Ash immediately goes into a gravity rage, but also notices two red spheres, which appear about next to the creature, the smoke entity, and each seems to drain color from the space around them. And with that, then we get to Armstrong, who manages to jump just. He's testing the waters now, experimenting to get information on for later on battle, and throws a dagger, hitting it straight on. It seems to have a small reaction, but not as much as they hoped, so it is resistant to non-magical damage. Here, uh, this okay. As they keep more, they and they'll start getting more into the battle. This entity who hey, and it starts attacking them. It launches something called its shadow sphere, like a dark rod launches, and can it causes necrotic damage and pushes the target back 20 feet. Uh, I think that's supposed to be. On a failed dex save, it pins them in place. Um, there is an attempt to there's an attempt to intimidate him. I forget who. Who. I really wish I had that shooting schedule to be able to record immediately after, but oh well. There. It also reveals later that lightning damage is also resistant. It does hit the entire party with a circle of death, which it would have with a failed counterspell, with a counterspell failing to save them from it. You see more red spheres and stuff. Here's causing the monotone and stuff. And after a while, or notices after a stab that that it was in the shadows itself. There is a figure, a person, seemingly unconscious. Uh, you know, and you can get see more of this individual as it takes more damage, as this creature takes more damage. Uh, a quick cure wounds, I believe, by Bor'Dor to make sure the people stay in the fight. And oh, Bor'Dor. Oh, there is a Bor'Dor used cure wounds on itself after taking a particular bad damage. And the creature then also attempts during the battle a cloud kill spell, which is I believe is countered is counterspelled by either by, by Imogen or Laudna. Uh, but it then tries to counterspell their own counterspell. But then but then the other spell then counterspell that. So we got a triple layered counterspell, ultimately ending with a whisked away cloud kill. Uh, at one, Lana realizing that things could go back to, kind of goes back to, starts moving toward back to the engine, and maybe secure and stuff, but vines close and block the exit of. Uh, 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 Ashton fails a save and succumbs to the effect of frightening gaze. Is is now frightened. This creature is throughout the fight. They also take notice like it can. Not sure if it's like a spell like Dimension Door or Misty Step, or just an innate ability, but it can teleport and has more movement than they do. Uh, with being unable to now approach, oh, Evithorier, Ashton attacks and shatters one of the red orbs. But the response is the entity using a shadow spear to pin Orm to the wall behind it, and he is restrained. Then Orm's response, but unfortunately, this provokes Orm to using a ceiling's distance attack to hit uh, Ever Everthorier here, and not just that, but then use the grasping lines and manage to gain anchor to the prisoner within the shadows. And with a yank is freeze it from the entity's corporeal not corporeal, but from the enemy form. And they get prison and mentioned doors. This away from the entity, and well, let's see. And I'm sorry, I made a mistake, guys. Before Alana just did a single counter spell to counter the Club Calco. Then now, after a while, the entity tries to cast a fireball, which is countered spell by Lana, which is counter spell, and and with Prism doing the final countering, which led to the sizzling out of the fireball. Who's there? Lana then once again strikes with Eldritch Blast, and then I believe does a quickened spelled Chill Touch. It's sending a spectral skeletal hand to take grip and sort of smash its face against something. Well, it tries to pursue its escaped prisoner, which will prevent it now from being able to recover any hit points. However, it's still trying to make for the down figure, who they assume is Hevestro. What after the bit with the chill touch, Lana just looks at it and says, "In Shadowcant, pray a game recognizes game." And who'd look back and responds the same. Game. Recognizes game. Ashton picks up the presumed Hevestro, gets at the others, where Denise meets fr- uh, uh, and and gives her the gives the figure gives the prisoner a healing potion, bringing him back up conscious, but he is kind of confused after you know, Orm uses a bait and switch to help guard their this the their we'll call it this time a patient. Mm. So the battle continues on. Bor'Dor hits it with lightning. So both on the odds of Crystal is now getting very. It's now very rough. The creature does successfully not perform the spell Fireball this time, knocking the elf who was in its elven prisoner out again, along with seriously damaged Prism, Orin, and Denise. At one point, a Prism uses her own chill touch, though using her 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 abilities as I already described changes the damage to radiant instead of necrotic. And then finally, Laudna, who uses both her action and her bonus action through Quicken Spell to shoot 4 Eldritch Blasts at it. Eldritch Blast beams at it, finishing it off, reducing it all to reduce to nothing but this slithering goo ground, which she grabs and absorbs the darkness, squishing it, and then squishes the remainder. After Bor'Dor heals this elf, he does introduce himself as Hevestro. Oh, he heals him with a mass cure wounds, but Laudna was out of range. Hevestro explains what's been going on, how he is the guardian of the shrine of Umadutwa, and ancient Galdrasari. For those who don't remember that, they were the forebears of the Ashari in Xandria in the uh, pre Age of Arcana. By the end of Calamity, they were no more. They basically became what is now today known as the Ashari. he explains how this uh, that Omadua uh, was the particular Xanago who bonded with many of the Eidolons, who became one with land, and how Oma Uma uh, Dua Omadua had vowed this entity Evithoria the Taker, er, sealing away within a rock in the Cofferfall Hill. Upon it, it's upon it, upon the episode, they realized it was released and and returned back to the valley. It took him, taken him by surprise, serving all the heavens but Hephaestus itself, who it captured in its eternal shadow. Uh, at one point, uh, 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 I like that. Actually, it's kind of curious on the Galashari in question him and says about their connection with the Ashari, though he mispronounces Hishari, which Hephaestus corrects as that was something else. There was originally a movement uh, after talking about Umadua's be known as J, basically implying that the green crystal obelisk it was once Umadua, who being a archdruid upon her death, many which is for any archdruid who eventually dies, even with their far extended age, like their age of sort of becomes one with the land. I guess instead of being a crystal cavern, she became this crystal. I get revealing that this was not residuum. And then they want to know more about his reaction to the word Hishari. And told them about how the people of the land worship the other stuff. But 50 years ago, a charismatic cult leader named Efterin basically gathered a group using his great and started his own teachings and stuff, saying how they should restore the primordial titans of old. No, the original things, saying how the world was theirs originally, which is true, and stuff. They settled this cult settled in the oh, old in the village of Tumilo, and was renamed Hishari in reference to the Ashari. However, after a while, they came into possession of a great uh, power, something stuff, perhaps an artifact and stuff, and they could not gain proper control, and it destroyed and the town was destroyed. Oh, and mhm, I don't know. Uh, he mentions how this was comes up when they try to control something they don't understand, and when the talk was about, then he actually told them that Jonah, the one who sent them, Jonah Medina, was a surviving member of the Hishari, he, who, after seeing the destruction, repented from this new teaching and then sought Hephaestus for training before returning to Hearthstall. And at one point, he explains his thoughts on the teachings. That he is like a bond, and there are people. The people are people tied with the Edelons. He notes that there's Edelons are not quite the same as the ancient primordials, different, and says that they seem to have done their best, survived best. They thrive most without the being the presence of gods or primordial titans on Exandria. So, mhm. They do point out that the way she was acting and stuff, they're not quite sure. They do point out to Vestro it that it seems like Ellen could be starting to be tempted to return to the teachings of the Hishari. After that, Oram brings up the reason they need a way to travel to get to where they need to, like potentially to different continents. Before he agrees to that, Hephaestus wants to know what's been going on. Lana uses silent image to show like images of the Malleus schema and the rest test it there and try to and they begin relaying the what has been going on and their adventures in trying to prevent it. And then we go to break. There's that ad for Old Spice, that Winter themed Old Spice commercial, which I swear looks like something that Sam Riegel came up with. Uh, Nothing real new comes up besides that, so the um, Hevestro shares his belief that there is a there should be a great change in the world. As the apogee solstice seems to be lasting longer than it should be. Uh, he then he then tells them that he to gain back his full powers he needs a night's rest. Uh, so before he could do anything for them, does invite them to stay in in the cabin, his cabin, his home until then. And then cedes to the remains of three of his compatriots, members of the circle, who were killed during what's his name? Evithorier. Here's attack. And he goes to bury them outside. They start to be prepared to sell in for the night when something happens, and this is where things truly take a turn. Denise sort of drops her sling of warning and asks for her Bor'Dor to pick up her, but when he reaches out, she grabs his hand and forces it behind his back, like she has. And the reason why, she feels like he hasn't been fully honest and hasn't told them everything. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Okay. Bor'Dor, though, originally does not resist. Starts again. He starts after resistance up. He does start admitting to some things he withheld, like claiming he doesn't truly actually have a brother. Like at first, he tries to play off pity, saying, "I probably don't have a brother anymore." I said, "No, that's not what I meant. You don't have a brother. Period. Do you?" There. He was kind of scared when he claims that he was just so scared by just being all these strangers and stuff that he he thought getting the sympathy might help him survive. He didn't recognize the places they scried on. He also admits that he is not a sheepherder but a leather worker. Eventually, she allows him to be released and lets him get set and tells him not to do anything suspicious or explains him. He slowly stands up and starts telling him of his true backstory. He grew up on the Menagerie Coast, not far from Port de Mali. His mother was Le, Lavandra. I think it was Lavandra. And she was seems to have been blessed, but with gifts from the Wild Mother, and was secretly teaching Bor'Dor how to use such things, and as well under the guise of practicing leatherworking. So I guess we know how he was able to make that fruit leather, huh? However, one day, of a group of these arrogant some of these rich kids just started picking up and he got into a fight with them, and he ended up unintentionally using. He ended up getting a point where he decided to just to really fight back and inflict wounds on them. However, these were some kids of prominent people and stuff, and they didn't like it. his mother ended up not wanting her son to be in danger, taking the blame. Uh, his mother was a devout believer in the gods and stuff, and thought that they had their protection. But her faith in them was shattered though when Bor'Dor's father and brother uh tried to fight to free them. Unfortunately, they were up against basically an army, and they weren't ready to change, so they stood no chance and fell in the attempt. She gave Bor'Dor her dagger to run before in after kamikaze spell casting use vitriolic sphere on the place where she stood and getting her and met most of the guards. For those who don't know, like I did when I first told them, though I did get start got a demonstration later on. You put this spell is a 4th level evocation. You point to a location within range, and a glowing 1-foot diameter ball of emerald acid streaks there and explodes in a 20-foot radius. See? Each creature in there must make a dexterity saving throw. On a fail save, the creature takes takes a 10d for acid damage. Law dice. And will take another 5d4 damage at the end of their next turn. If they succeed, then they take the half damage now. Don't take any damage later. Upcasting. For every level upcast, the damage increased by 2d4. Oh, sorry, I missed a time slot thing. Sorry. Mm-hmm.
Out of a god.
Are you sure you're not?
Incredible. I'm pretty almost positively sure that's not in the.
Oh, this is like
Whiz Kids won't allow it.
I gotta start editing on my notes.
I stand up slowly, preparing to take to tell my story.
You go nowhere. Okay.
Like this is so hard for me to say.
I hand him some tea. Would you like Ashton to spike it?
No, thank you. I'm
All
okay.
right. Here, hand out tea to whoever wants it.
Where are we right now?
You guys are kind of like in the common area where the fire is in the center. So everyone's kind of like gathered in that space where you've been kind of set down for a second, and I guess everyone's kind of whereabouts in that area. Everyone's paying attention.
Mm-hmm. Wrapped.
Okay. So I stood up, and I turn around. Oh, I need my... Oh, where's my... Okay, here we go. I'll tell you my story.
Uh-oh.
Well, that's why he starts getting to the story. He fled to the Sirius Mountains. He used his magic to destroy, to steal and trick, do whatever it takes to survive. Eventually, he came up to a group. And he reveals to the group that came across a community of like-minded who were had asked me asking questions they've been asking throughout their travel through the Sildra. Are the gods good? Do they deserve to still be in power? And then they are asked, what group is this? And then the final bit of his backstory, the most shocking one, is revealed explosively. Hang on.
But that's half.
So 26, you take 13 points. Oh, it's 16.
You as you
Which one is it?
Oh, as he's basically as he was like about to seemingly explain, he immediately looks down the crystal he picked up before, which is on the ground, and aims at it at his own vitriolic sphere. Here.
Which one is it?
You want me to help you as you assassinate me? Now?
7.
Of course, this is weird because Lana was the only one not part of that mass cure wound, so she's still pivotal.
Okay, so coming around the table here.
16.
What's your spell DC?
Which one is it?
You want me to help you as you assassinate me? Now?
Sorry.
It is, it's 16, so you succeed.
I succeed. So what? That's
Okay.
half.
So 26, you take 13 points of acid damage left.
Alright.
Yeah, she'll still be very rough, but
I fail.
So you take the full, was it 27 you
Yeah,
said?
27.
27 points of acid
I
damage.
look you in the eyes, and then you see the life leave my eyes, and
out cold to 0 hit points. To say fee. The person who probably sympathizes with him the most, who is he's getting along with the most, who probably is the one who does the least wrong to him over this type of thing, as you'll soon find out, just went out.
pass out.
Oh, no.
Prism falls
Prism's
unconscious,
down.
the acid still burning into her flesh.
17.
17, so you take 13 points of acid damage. 13 points of acid damage.
21.
13 points of
Okay,
acid
and I
damage.
yell, I saw you. You killed my friends at Marquette. You were there.
I'm jumping full speed.
I need
at
everyone
this
to roll
one while
initiative now.
And the final secret revealed the community story to was the Ruby Vanguard. They've been traveling with the enemy.
What? Were you? Oh my god!
I didn't want this to happen.
You're just a fucking.
There was no need.
It's my
We
fault.
were almost home free.
What were you gonna do? What was it gonna be?
I was gonna run away.
All right, so everyone roll initiative here.
Oh my god.
25 to
shit.
20.
Roll initiative for
shit.
death.
I have advantage on initiative.
Liam and I had theories and we were both right-ish.
Yeah, not wrong.
All right, 25 to 20.
I knew I should have followed Homeboy.
23.
23.
All
right.
What's your dex?
Initiative as well.
Anymore.
17.
No, 16. Sorry.
Okay.
Oh boy.
15 to 10. What'd you
Oh, me. 9.
Okay.
Oh, no, sorry. Oh, less than.
Yeah. What do you think?
Less than that? Oh, I'm at an 8. Matt.
I'm a 9.
Okay.
9. Okay.
All right.
I think there's more. There's more I want to do. This was a long.
Didn't Ludinus have like a bunch
Part
of
of the
people?
fucking
Yeah.
cult. Oh my
Yeah, you're part of the Crimson. You're the
Ruby Vanguard.
Vanguard.
What is Ruby Vanguard?
Ruby fucking
I don't know
Vanguard.
why I keep
you're
going to
at
Crimson.
six.
Ruby
Okay.
Vanguard.
I can read this little story and then attack it. Read this.
God
Over
fucking damn
how
it.
funny it is to take out a notes app, read this little story, and then attack it.
Guys, I'm in uncharted territory. I don't know what.
In closing, I cast Disintegrate.
Yeah, it's closing.
Really?
I don't know.
A special thing to be at the table.
I don't know.
You're up first. And watching.
Man, now I'm just thinking back to you asking how many people did we kill?
Yes.
Talking about lewdness and like, yeah, well, lewdness has got to go down.
Kill an avatar of the Dawn
The
Father.
whole
Feel
time.
bad about it.
It's delicious. It's delicious.
So good.
I believe one of those 3 healing potions is supposed to be over here with me.
Oh, you're
That's
going for
probably
it?
true.
Yes.
All right.
Probably one of these middle ones, right? Or
I
these 2 or
don't
small
know.
ones?
I don't know. I just
Yeah,
know
you
I've had a
inflicted wounds
potion
on an
forever.
angel, which feels very deliberate.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Felt good.
I
So-
was one. Yeah.
As you were
Okay. And with that, the combat resume. Combat initiates. This is. I'll just say it. This was short. Bor'Dor immediately drops like his disguise spell, changes appearance, and without it, and with it, all the innocence he appears to have disappears. Especially sad stuff. He sort of has, yeah, basically he has the look of someone who's gone through shit. A similar look to air to him, like as Orm has. As this continues on, as it goes, Orm immediately starts and goes to Prism and pulls away, giving her the health potion so she regains consciousness. Which is good because I do not want to see her do a death save. Like, for one thing, we found out that there's a secondary damage afterward, which would have cost her a death save automatically. You need to get her back as. Mhm. And then protect her with Bane Switch. Ashton tosses another potion to her, hitting him twice with his hammer, knocking him prone, but he specifically says he's not going for lethal damage right now. Because they were still been traveling into the wild, they want some at least more answers. Said, Denise immediately tries to grapple him and stuff, and he attempts to escape through a what's he called? A polymorph. And I believe trying to figure out something that's small and fast, choosing a hummingbird, but is immediately counterspelled by him, much to his chagrin. That's mhm. And being prone and grappled, basically completely at the mercy border, just tells Laudna to get it over with. She assumes form of dread, but there is a faint purplish light in her eyes, like a fire and stuff, like a dark fire. One that the members of Bell's house have seen since their spirit quest to retrieve Lana's soul from the clutches of Delilah Briarwood. It's indicated she takes the betrayal hard, as she indicates when she walks over to Bor'Dor, or shaking it and telling him, and telling, um, I'm sorry, Bor'Dor, but I can't stand having anyone else betray me. Cass takes him by the throat. He goes, Thunder of Shadows. Stuff, the Shadows. This knocks him out cold and correct saves. Denise is basically tells him to keep him alive. Maybe not out of hope that he can be hurt of, but at least just to answer questions. Uh, Prism listens to this stuff, but then gets the secondary acid damage from the spell and stuff. And she was just really with it, and it's not just the acid that burns her now. You know, she punches him in his unconscious form in the face, which does 1 damage to him, which would do 1 damage to him. However, since he's unconscious, and technically this is uh, a, a, and it being a melee any form of melee strike, that is like a crit fail and automatically fails 2 death save. Lawless form of dread. Sword takes a new form, like there's the old dripping thing, which takes and it starts giving her a form, a black mourning veil. Which only while reading this I realized what it meant. Like I thought they were talking about something like in the morning and stuff for a second. No, I get it now.
So there's no need to.
Okay. That brings us back around to you, Laudna. At the threshold of death, Bor'Dor stands helpless within your grasp, broken and at your mercy. What do you do?
Look at his face. And then
That's where we take a break.
that does feel like such a move Matt would have done. That does feel like something Matt would have done if he had already given him a break. I gotta get that good.
And that's where we take a break.
Sorry, that was just a great moment.
This assassination attempt brought to you by
WizKids.
Laudna, you can do anything you want, but 15 feet away, in your view, you see Orm. You just see this.
Laudna's like barely present right now. And the only thing that is like flashing through her head is Bor'Dor's words of knowing true pain. that look of someone who knows true pain. And as if her life was flashing like before her eyes, but it's just all of the trauma that she's experiencing between losing Imogen and the solstice and losing her friends and watching so many people die and then being hung on the tree. Death upon death upon death. And feeling so helpless and so out of control here recently. And in this moment, she has control. She has regained a sense of control.
And with the sense of control there, she now determines the fate of Bor'Dor and casts Wither and Bloom, giving into her darkness. Using the last of her necrotic energies to suck the remainder of life out of Bor'Dor. She blows the ground stuff. Basically, as he said, Bor'Dor's body starts to shrink and turn to dust. Not his items, but not his gear, but his too. As around him, the energy of his life energy, so that is drained by Dawn, disperses into there, and in about with the death comes the new life as a small patch of flowers erupts around where he fell, indicating the balance. Ashen's there to comfort her as she starts to dissolve tears after this. He tells her that it'll be okay and stuff. Just trying to be a good friend, and just leads her off to get talking through. Orm lingers over and takes out the locket they got back at the Malleus Key. One of the dead guards, now known to be one of Bor'Dor's comrades, and the image of a child that appears to be that was there. He closes it and places it and drops it to where Bor'Dor once lay. And commenting that we were at war. And with as much respect as possible she could do to her fallen, in more ways than one, comrade, he starts looting. Proud tradition, D&D, proud tradition. She then buries the ashes under a rock and stuff. And
Denise will sort of like hold onto the dagger with every intention of like doing, either burying it with the ash. I mean, just ashes or whatever.
I mean,
but
there are other things that he keeps to himself.
there are other things.
Leather workers' tools.
There's also a cloak of protection on you.
Oh, that's right.
Yep.
And a hat. some kind of hat.
A hat of disguise.
Hat of disguise.
So many fucking magic items.
Well, we'll maybe maybe we'll divvy these, but
Okay, one second. I want full screen for this.
Fucking magic items.
Yep.
well, we'll maybe divvy.
They found out he was loaded.
But yeah, I guess what I'm looking for is
And an immovable rod.
you have an immovable rod.
In case I fell.
You're
Great
like Steve Martin
item.
right now. Just this. this. That's all I need.
I'll just
I have
say,
0 magic items.
Hold on, I had
0 border. I'm just a wizard.
well, I was trying to just get out of the way. You guys are dangerous people.
I'm just a helpless farmer with an immovable rod and a cloak of protection.
Dagger of venom, ring of protection, cloak of protection,
living
light
fuck.
crossbow, a hat of disguise,
This deck with a lot
and
of
then
things.
a movable rod.
Okay, Batman.
Okay, so we'll
Right.
collect these things.
You gather the cloak. You gather the crossbow. The
dagger, the rod,
Mhm.
and the cloak. But there's nothing, like no clue, no back information, nothing.
nothing.
That we can-
Anything that seemed to have been tied to who he was before was likely discarded intentionally.
Which means that he would have known. Yeah. I'm not there.
So I'll just like sweep up his ashes, I guess, as best I can, and try to like dig a hole and not shit in it, but put the ashes in it, and cover it back up.
Feel free to shit in the hole. It's okay.
It's a rock on top of it.
Okay. Prism. What are you doing this time?
After a while, they start talking about how they might divvy it up. Stuff. The Prism goes over to the rock. Prism's very caught up. She feels betrayed and gullible. She was Bor'Dor was the one she was connected to the most. Apparently, like them learning their powers together. She actually goes over to the rock stuff and starts like stomping on the ground there where he was buried. Feels guilty, apologizes. Then does again stuff. Rinse and repeat. Mourning is a process. And Hethestro returns and notices something up, and they explain to him, he does give some comforting words and stuff. Prism apologizes to Laudna for losing her temper and tells Laudna not to be too hard on herself. And Laudna is kind of deeply is scared of what her loss of control is. Almost like thinking back to her time as Delilah Briarwood's puppet. And gets into things like everyone seeks to be in control and stuff like the church that the Church of Palor tried to control Hearthdwell. Ruda is trying to control Padathos. Else, the gods in old times tried to control the world, and the Titans tried to control the gods. And it is, what does control get you? Like, what does it get? What do you have to do when you like? What's the point? And Prism tells her to, well, right now you're very confused and stuff, and that's lack control. So just be confused and let it heal you, and just let yourself heal. Oh, there was an earlier talk about where what's his name the now characterless Ut Utkash asked if he wants him to tell him now that he's gone, Bor'Dor's gone, more Bor'Dor's backstory, but he does to save it like stuff like for maybe like later on, like if they have a oh, what do you call it, a speak to dead spell cast on him, or if or perhaps save it for as a thing for Foresight Dive, which he seems really excited about. The morning comes, and Prison reveals that she doesn't. She doesn't want to go back to the Cobalt Soul and just be some apprentice and do errands for them. Excuse me. Yeah, wait. Do I have any more? One. Uh, she wants she wants to take Daenerys, who kind of seems in favor of this, and go and look for knowledge. And maybe take it, even if for their own. So like a theft, like stealing the knowledge from others and stuff. Like we think we just found her rebellious phase. And Ashley warns her that, and she asks Ash for advice because he seems to have been ignorant to these sort of habits. Ashley tells her it's not a good way for her to run for herself, but she seems to be like this criminal nerd and stuff, and tells her to Brittany said it may be a good idea. And when they ask like where the good place to get some knowledge is, like Westworld stuff, he comes with the air and says, "Go to Whitestone, saying the Lord is a total dick, and Cinnamon would be amazing." Denise Escano, which gets Denise also excited because he's like it being known as a sort of like most likely a wretched hive of scum and villainy sort of place. One of the places they get control there. When talking about Whitestone, they did ask if like the Lord was some sort of great wizard and stuff. It goes and Ashley goes, sure. Ashley seems to be a bad. Denise then, as they're starting to get ready to figure out where they're going, Denise asks Prism to scry on Darax, and this vision shows them in a tavern. There's hints that like from the views outside that this could be like mid like central Caldore. And it's most likely he's most likely in a bar in Westrom. Owen tries to to get more information by once again attempts to use the sending zone to contact Dorian, but it once again fails and all it gets is static. And Denise remembers she's carrying a wanted poster for the Crown Keepers. And shows Orm, who is he kind of shocked, like he doesn't know he's wanted stuff, like, and not in like the oh I want you, I need you, but in like you're wanted for these crimes and stuff. By the mob, by essentially the mob, no less. He asked to be able to keep it though, as of goodbye. And now it becomes time for them. There, Denise is considering just having for where she goes, dealer's choice stuff.
I think I'm.
This beautiful, clear day, you can hear the birds in the trees. Here nature thrives, untouched by most of civilization, and to a certain degree, from what you've seen, untouched by the meddling of gods and powers that try and maneuver and change the world around them. With his help, there's a hidden path up the crevasse. And as you all step to the edge of the north side cliff, all manner of large trees sit at the ready.
I didn't open up.
Vestor turns. Who would like to travel first?
Maybe send this one over, just to make sure it's safe. Sorry. Maybe you should go first.
Why?
I just want to make sure if you die, I don't.
I'm the canary in the teleportation.
Yeah.
You know what? I think I've gained enough confidence in the past couple days to say no.
All right. To Westeron.
To Western Taldore.
Oh, shit. Just me and Bor'Dor, just, hey, how'd it go for you?
Grasps his staff.
Sucks, right?
This was my fault.
You can see these runic protection sigils along the side of the staff kind of glow, almost like showing the amount of magic that it holds. And you watch as some of them go dark, expending some of the power within. And he opens his eyes and reaches forward towards the nearest tree. And you watch as the center of it, a secondary doorway beyond a long...
Basically, she enters and goes through and heads to Westrum to meet with Derek's and stuff. They then prison does scry again. Like after after that show reveals like he feels like he could do with his powers right now he could do it twice more, which is enough to send Prism away to her and then send off the Bell's Hell. This half of Bell's Hell. Prism does a quick thing to recover spells and uses Scry on Image's ring and sees them in Dressar with the missing members around a tavern table. And the last thing, they decide to invite Prism to see if she might want to come along with them. And she eventually declines, so they give her some things. Like, they pull a little bit of hair off from them, a bit of amethyst off of Ashton, and a whole full of, like, bit of hair from Lana, things on her are not that secure. Contact in the future. But last minute, she does decide to take him up on her and go with them to Jassar and meet the rest of Bel's Hell. Hephaestus opens the portal, and they talk about the excited. They said, "I can only go those on," and they run through and leave Isira. And Hephaestus closes the door behind him. Then he nods and lets fall on his hand some falling leaves. Looks around, stuff, and gets the feel of the air from the air stuff, and determines everything's changing, and walks away. And so ends ends the this the divided stories of the Team of Silver of Bell's Hells. With the next thing reunited, we'll see. We'll get once again get the entirety of Bell's Hells on the same table again, along with, by my count, 3 other, because both Deanna and Frida were got teleported with decided to go along with the teleportation, and so there'll be a total 10 characters on one table. I think they've done this before briefly, but it's been a while. Also, we'll find out it clearly that they got to their location of Dressar, but they Imogen's like low roll stills in the air, so who knows what side effects their transportation costs them. And with that, all that's left is to okay, what should I do for this homebrew? Oh, no, I already did that. No, what? This is a whole one. I made this a while ago. I did for this jar of resonating venom. A creature struck by a weapon that does either slashing or piercing damage. It is coated in this jar's contents. Must make a saving throw, a Constitution saving throw with a DC of 20. Failed, the target is poisoned for 5 minutes or until making a successful con save at the start of their turn. While they're poisoned, but having the poison condition from being poisoned by this, the target also takes any poison damage. If the target takes any poison damage from an attack, it's at the start of their turn after making a con save. Basically, once they make the con save at the beginning of the turn, they'll take if they don't shake off the effects, they'll take additional poison damage equal to a fraction of what they took based on how many turns it's been since they took the initial damage. It's like constantly deteriorating but stuff, but still constantly damaging. And it's one thing, and also can easily accumulate as it. This is for every time it takes more poison damage. Meaning, if they take more, they'll get like if they get hit by a poison attack turn before, then next turn they also do. like at the first turn, they'll also take half of the original poison. Then on that second turn, and then on the third turn, they'll even if they don't take one, they'll still take half of that second one's poison and a third of the first poison. And this is of course very rare, very dangerous. Uh, DMs be conservative with this. You control the size of the jar and number of uses. And with that, I thank you for joining me this unseen retelling. This is Free Night Rematcha, and I wish thee good fortune on the quest of life.